Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a good old-fashioned deck haul. I'm going to share with you the handful of decks that I got from the last Llewellyn sale. It looks like 5 decks here to show you because I already talked about the Grim Tales, did a whole separate walkthrough with that. So the first deck I got, which you would have saw if you watched the Grim Tales walkthrough, is the pocket edition of Alana Fairchild's Sacred Rebels Oracle. Now, I've never owned the large edition of this, and every time I see this brought up in videos here in our little corner of Tarot Tube, I've always heard fantastic things about this deck and how insightful and deep this deck is. Now, I've had Alana's guidebooks before, and I tend to only read a very small portion of them anyway. So having just the pocket edition with what's wrote on the back is, I think, plenty for me. But just in using this in that pairings video that I did and looking through the deck on my own, I really love the keywords on the front with the images. And I honestly think that there is enough just from the front for me to let my intuition run with it and not necessarily have to look at the back if I didn't want to. And then if I wanted to dive deeper or after I feel it out with my intuition, then pull the message from the back, I think I could do that too. I've only heard good things about this in the Tarot Tube community sphere here. And honestly, I was thinking about this when I was getting ready to do this video this morning. I thought, have I ever seen anyone declutter this deck? Because I watch declutters here. And I thought, I don't know if I've ever seen this one up for a declutter. So that's a good sign. Not to say no one has, but you know. Okay, so the next one is another Alana Fairchild deck. This is the White Light Oracle. And I probably should have done, I don't know, maybe a little bit more. I should have investigated a little bit more, I think, about this deck. Because I'm going to be completely honest. When I first got it out of the box, I was like, I don't know. Not that the images aren't beautiful, but these are completely different than the Sacred Rebels. Like the perfume of Sophia does nothing for me, which means I am going to have to go to the back constantly. And that is not one of my favorite things. And anybody who's been here for any length of time knows that I don't like to rely on the guidebook to read a deck with it. So all of these are like that. So I don't know how this deck is actually going to work for me for not investigating this more, looking into the images more. I just thought, oh, it's a pocket deck. It's very inexpensive with the sale that they were having. I'm going to go ahead and try it. So that's all I can say about it. I'm going to have to play around, see how this sits or works for me, and then make a decision what to do with it. As of right now, I don't even know how I'm going to use it. If you have this White Light Oracle, the big version or whatever, give me ideas how you're using it in your practice. What kind of readings are you doing with it? Are you using it like in conjunction with goddesses, or I don't know. I'm like at a loss of what to do with this. So I will take any input that someone would like to give surrounding this deck, and their thoughts and that on this deck. Help me out. Give me some ideas for that deck, or that may be one that gets decluttered quickly. Okay, so the next one Ukiyo Tarot by Petro Torino. Ukiyo, I think that's how you say it. I didn't know about this deck until a friend told me that they were ordering it. So I was like, oh, I need to go check this out. And I was really excited when I saw the images to this. This is by Los Scarabeo. Oh, I just love these images so much. Um, I had bought my son the manga tarot, and I don't know if that's just what it's called. It's the one that has the gray box with the girl with the pink hair on the front. And he doesn't read with it. I think he keeps it because he likes it. So I had asked him, can I read with it? And he's like, no, I don't want you to bend my cards. So I wasn't allowed to read with it. And I thought about getting the mini version because they do have that in a mini pocket version. I thought about picking that up. And then I saw this one, or I was told about this one, and went and looked at the images, and I thought, oh, this this is more my style than the other one is. So I'm planning on using this in this winter and reading with it. Then, like I said, I just think it is beautiful. And I can't wait to see what kind of reader it is for me. And when I should say, like when I get these types of decks in, I'll spend time reading for myself with the deck first, and then I'll see if I vibe well with the energy or not. And if I don't, then I usually move it over to like reading and using for clients. Sometimes it gets put in a timeout altogether, but yeah, decks that I'm not feeling like really drawn to, I push over and I read with clients with that deck. That doesn't mean that it's a bad deck. It's just it's not right for the readings I'm doing for myself. But it might be a fantastic reader, when I'm reading for other people. So if you got this deck, the Ukiyo, let me know. And have you read with it yet? And what did you think of it? How is it working for you? It's just so pretty. Mine's all in order still. I like how all the quartz are like color coded also. Like I noticed these are all blue, and what were the pentacles? Like a yellow. So I like that. One of the other decks that I ordered is the Lubanko Tarot by Lubanko. I was unsure. I'm going about this deck. I was unsure about whether or not this was a deck that was going to be for me. I was unsure of whether or not I was going to get along with these images. And I was encouraged by a friend who said that they thought this deck would be a really good reader for me. And I trust their input because we have very similar tastes in decks. So I trusted their input, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to see. This deck, when I first took it out of the box, was intense. It was, when I was looking through it, I felt all kinds of very visceral feelings, intense feelings. And I was like, oh man, I don't know. But the more I've looked at it, the more I've handled it, the more I've explored it, not reading the guidebook, I'm just looking at the images, getting a feel for the images without reading what the guidebook has to say right now. I'm like softening up to this and feeling a connection to it. And like this image right here, which I kind of kept out, so when I was done rambling, I could point something out. Like I have not, like I said, have not read the guidebook, not one word of it. But I was just looking at this the other day, and I'm looking at this hangman, and I'm thinking, okay, so he can still breathe, everything, but the majority of his head is underwater. So are we leaning into our intuition here with this image and that water aspect? Or is this about maybe surrendering to your emotions, or surrendering to, how you're feeling about the situation? I don't know. I started thinking about all kinds of things. I did take a few cards out of here that I didn't want to show on here, but there's a gazillion walkthroughs. I'm sure you've seen this deck 100 times already with all the different walkthroughs that are on TarotTube. Look at this Queen of Swords. This is like, what are these, like roots that are coming up? They're pulling her down. You got all these swords around like her head. Man, this is what I mean. It feels like a little bit on the intense side. And look at this moon. This person creature thing coming up out of the water like that. Is this something to be afraid of? Is it, your mind's playing tricks on you? What is that? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to read with this. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have the indie version of this, or even if you bought the mass market, either one. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How it reads. Does it read shadowy for you? And I know that doesn't necessarily mean that it would read that way for me, because the one deck that's a big shadow deck for me is other people's comfort deck. So I know that plays like no bearing on anything. But I'm just curious. I'm curious to hear others' thoughts about it and the imagery. And yeah, I'd love to hear your take on this deck. But this is going to be a really interesting one to read with in the coming year. The last deck I have to show from Llewellyn is the Symbolic Soul Tarot. This is Lo Scarabeo. This deck is so strange. This is another one that this one I did buy on a whim. I'll be honest about that. I did look up some images on this deck to check it out before I purchased this one. But yeah, this deck is it's strange, and I'm finding, I should say, that I'm gravitating a little bit more towards like black and white aesthetics in the decks. So this is going to be interesting in that regard. And just the images all together are so different. And I want to see what it's like as a reader because of that. There was some nudity in some of the other cards, so I'm not going to show all of it, but there's just things in this deck that kind of have me questioning, okay, why? What is this? What is happening here? Does anybody else have the Symbolic Soul Tarot? Did I say who it was by? Elisa Sightzinger? Is that how you say her name? Sightzinger? I'm trying to find the one. Okay, like look at the Page of Swords. Why does he have arrows stuck in both arms? What does that mean? Why a volcano here for the Seven of Wands? That's interesting. And look at this Ten of Swords, how the roots are growing from this body here. That I don't know. And does this mean that could this represent, if I'm seeing this correctly? So could this image represent like the decay of this situation for this person? I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about it. But I think it's just really interesting that there's roots on them and it's coming through and going into the earth right there. This sword is like going through her. And what is this symbol here on the back of his? I like that there's like a third eye almost in the back of his head. So does this mean he can see things behind him, like I've got eyes in the back of my head kind of thing? Or is this playing into his intuition or things from the past that he could see clearly now have led him to this place where he's sending out these ships? I don't know. They just, these images, like when you really look at them and look at what's going on, really make you think. Like the aces, look at this, the Ace of Wands, like that's coming out of their mouth, but it's forming into this tree that's now, sprouting roots. So that passionate spark, look what it can do. I mean, and then this Page of Pentacles here, I did look at the write up for this. Like, why is this snake like coming up out of the earth, wrapping itself around this person? And it said about the Page of Pentacles reveling in their being human, in their human form, leaning into their what did it say? Sensuality, I think. Oh, it says that she is enjoying the unique sensations of physical embodiment, especially the human part, sensually reveling in her earthiness. That's what it said. So I thought that was really interesting. Here, what's happening here with the Three of Pentacles? It looks like he's crafting a portal. That's exactly. While these people are just waiting, it looks like he's crafting a portal. So the guidebook for the Three of Pentacles says, we were created to create. If we can make anything, why build a shack when we can erect a cathedral? Maybe a shack is easier, but imagine the satisfaction of something truly remarkable. The secret might make it easier. The mundane and the sacred contain each other. Strive to reveal and express each to their mutual glory. Does this mean the cathedral is in the shack? Well, that's interesting. So is he opening up the portal to bridge the magic and the mundane? I don't know. It's like I said, it's so like, why is this king's beard going down into the cup? Why is that happening? And there's so much on these cards to dive into. And I like the little tidbits in the guidebook. Like, why is there a face on the back of this 10 of Cups here? So, and why is the Magician's arm look dislocated, like it's coming from somewhere else? So is this the arm, like the magic, from the divine, from the, whatever that is coming down here to help you create the magic? So the Magician in the beginning is desire. Desire urges us to create a reality that allows it to manifest the object of its longing. The true magician sees the physical world with physical eyes and senses the invisible world with its infinite possibilities. The very powers of the universe are at her disposal: fire, water, air, and earth. She joins with the divine. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's what I said. Maybe that's the divine hand here. Together, they co-create the world. Indeed, they are so intertwined, it is impossible to know where one ends and the other begins. They are as one, and yet it all begins with the need to express oneself. It begins with desire. It begins. Wasn't there something like that phrase at the beginning of the discovery of witches? It begins with something in desire. Oh my gosh, I can't remember now. But yeah, so I guess I was kind of right about, Maybe this is the arm of the universe, the arm of the divine that's coming down here, working with the magician in the mundane. Oh, I don't know. This deck is going to be freaking great to work with. Like I said, I just think the images are really intriguing in this, and I cannot wait to get further into them. If you have the Symbolic Soul Tarot, let me know how you like it. What are you using it for? What type of readings are you doing with it? Is there anything in one of the cards that you discovered that I should know about that, really like you changed your perspective on something? So let me know about this one. I think this one's really cool looking. This one I picked up. This is an independent. This was from, oh, good Lord, I forget now. This is off of Etsy. Oh, Quarter Press. Thank God that was there. But I picked this up off of Etsy. This is like the Steven Universe crystal gem deck. I got this for my son because he used to watch Steven Universe as a kid. This deck contains 15 characters, 15 locations, 15 objects. So there's 45 cards here. So your characters could be your spirit guides. The location is the context, and objects is like the talisman. These cards offer up opportunities for solutions or areas of caution. So to make it easier for him, I color coded the cards so he would know what's what. And I just colored the O in the word on the back and then put here, these are the characters, the green's the location, the yellow is the object. So it's all the things from, like I said, the Steven Universe cartoon, but it has like little keywords on here. It says, what is this? Together breakfast. So unifying, crafted, shareable. I think this is a cute little oracle that you could even toss in your purse and uh, do a quick reading with. You don't have to separate it out if you don't want to. So we're still in the objects, but here these start the locations right here, and there's keywords on this too: hidden, silence, artifacts. Homeworld is fractured, fading, and corrupted. So we got the fry shop. I was not fond of Steven Universe, but like I said, he used to watch it, so I thought this would be a nice little nostalgic deck for him to play around with. So those are all the locations. And then we have the people. I remember Garnet and Peridot. I didn't like Steven because he yelled a lot. He screamed a lot on that cartoon. So it was not one of my favorites, but I would watch it because he liked it. Another little deck I purchased was the Memento Mori Oracle, 36 cards to embrace life. This is put out by Red Wheel. I love the imagery on these little tiny cards. I really do. But man, is the writing tiny. This says forgive, trust your familiar, the path is lit. There is no guidebook at all for this deck. So you just got your image and the words. That's it. This, I think, says the universe goes on. The ones that are on like the lighter spaces are easy to see. It's the ones that are on the darker backgrounds. For everything a season. But yeah, I really, really love the imagery here. And I would probably, I would just use this as either a single card pull, or this would be one of those decks that I would add in to the end of a reading. Just a little takeaway message to think about. I like to add those on. Ponder Karma. Just a nice little mini deck to have. And the last deck I'm going to show today is an affirmation deck. I love a good affirmation deck. I like to keep those out sometimes and just pull one to either help me get through my day or to end my day, to reflect on whatever. I use it in a multitude of different ways. And I saw this on a couple channels, and I thought, oh, I think this would really be a nice affirmation deck to have. And that is Sunsteeped by Shannon Christie. And this does come with a guidebook, and there's 54 cards to it. So I think that's a really nice size for being an affirmation deck. And if I want to go to the guidebook, sure, I will. And if I don't, that's okay. I don't have to. I think these would be a nice one to maybe start my day with. Even if I use this once we get further into winter, because I don't like when things are so gray and dismal and dark all the time. I could even pull this out then to help bring in that sunshine a little bit, to help bring in some of that maybe positivity or messages to get me up and out of that like darkness feeling. So yeah, there's a ton here. I can find my home anywhere I go. What I seek is seeking me. Wake up with gratitude for a new day of opportunities. Yeah, just your typical affirmation deck with guidebook. And just in case you're curious, here is the I am grounded and confident in my capabilities. It says this card is an affirmation for cultivating self-esteem from within. We all deserve to feel like we are able to tackle our time commitments, knowing that we're able to navigate them with poise, belief in ourselves, blah, 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 and so on. So that's what it says in the guidebook. So I could go and dive further into that message if I want to, or just take this for what it is. So let me know, do you have any of the decks that I showed today? If you do, how are you using them? What are you using? Please tell me. If you got this white light oracle, what are you using it for? Because right now, out of everything I've purchased, this one I am very, very unsure about. Very unsure about. This one I'm excited to use for myself, the Sacred Rebels. And the Lubanko Tarot here is another one that I'm really curious to see what kind of energy in that it's going to bring into my practice, how I'm going to use it, etc. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. I'd appreciate a like, a thumbs up, hey, how you doing in the comments. If you want to leave a comment for me, I appreciate that too. And share with me, like I said, if you have any of these and what you're doing with them. And until I see you next time, bye.